Hi, this is Sam Kotera here again with another Gain Grades video tutorial. For this one, we're doing a mini-series on some different time management philosophies. And specifically in this video, we're going to look at Ben Franklin's time management philosophy and what he did to do so much within his lifetime. As we all know, Ben Franklin was a founding father. He was a leading scientist, inventor, politician, and a printer. He was one of the biggest people in terms of producing newspapers in the country during the Revolutionary period, which is pretty interesting. Also, he was famous for creating items like the bifocals primarily. And he also had some theories on time management, which is what we're concerned with. So, Franklin's time management, he had a really broad idea, and it was centered around the following, which was basically 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, and 8 hours of sleep. You can call it the rule of thirds if you want. But more specifically, as he got into his time management or personal management philosophy, he outlined 12 major areas of life to keep in balance for efficiency. And those 12 are listed below. There was also a 13th he came out with later in his life, which was humility, which we will also talk about. But we're just going to briefly overview these 12 and then also humility. So temperance basically meant don't let drinking or smoking become an imbalance in your life. Those are things to do in your leisure time, but you have to keep those in balance, otherwise your life is going to spiral out of control at some point. Another idea he had of his 13 was silence, which is only speak when necessary, a balance between the inter and intrapersonal. And if you've ever read Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, you know that one of his laws, and I believe it's the fourth law, is always say less than necessary as a rule of power, which kind of relates to Ben Franklin's silence idea. Our third rule to follow is order, which basically means schedule and plan your time out, be organized with what you're doing in your life. If you don't have end goals in mind, then you have nothing to shoot for in the first place. Resolution is basically just follow through with your organizational plan. Frugality, his fifth, was don't be wasteful and don't needlessly throw around your value. And value primarily means money in this case, but it could mean a lot of other things too. His sixth idea revolved around industry, which just means focus, focus, focus. Stay on one task as a key rule of thumb. Multitasking will cost you efficiency. And the next one is sincerity, which just means don't do any unnecessary manipulation. It's not going to earn you friends or praise in your life. The next one is justice, and that basically means to be proactive and take action, whether it be physical or verbal, toward what you believe to be right. So a lot of people, when something bugs them or it gets them down or they think they should say something, they don't do it. And then they'll find themselves after the fact thinking, oh, I should have done this, or oh crap, I should have done that. And you actually spend so much time thinking about whatever scenario it was that you just end up wasting a lot of time. So justice also has a moral and ethical component, but it also means to be proactive and take action about your ethical and moral beliefs so that you don't regret it and are stuck on it later. The next one is moderation. Just means avoid emotional extremes because they cloud your judgment. Don't get overly angry. Don't get caught in the moment too much if it's a provocative situation that could end badly. Try to have the self-awareness to avoid emotional extremes or get out of the situation that's causing those extremes. Cleanliness is our 10th, and when we're talking about cleanliness here, we're talking about you yourself, we're talking about what you're wearing, and we're also talking about where you live. A clear environment breeds a clear mind. If you've got stuff tossed about in your place, if you just threw clothes on that should have been washed, if anything's out of alignment in that sense of being clean, then it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's almost what we project in the physical world is a reflection of our mentality and where we're at in our head. Tranquility is next, and this is what Stephen Covey calls the 90-10 principle, or at least Benjamin Franklin was getting at a very similar idea. Tranquility basically just means, remember, some things just happen. You have no control over them. So tranquility basically is just saying, don't sweat the small stuff, don't get angry about the little things, because to a certain extent in our lives we have no control. What Covey would call that 10%. The last, well, actually not the last one's humility, but chastity is our second to last one, which basically means keep your urges in check. Don't let the wrong head drive all of your actions in life. I might be targeting a specific sex with that one, but I think both get the idea. And of course the last one is humility. Just have a sense of self that is not inflated. You can be honest with yourself about your positives and your negatives. Having that humility to be able to do that is going to allow you to improve as a person at a lot more efficient rate anyhow. And Franklin, besides having those 13 different areas, the 13th being humility, he also developed an action plan around this. And Franklin would focus on one of those 13 areas of his life every week. So every 13 weeks then he would start the cycle over, and he would get through 4 of those cycles in the year, as a year's 52 weeks long. So if we go back to the list, week 1 he'd target temperance, week 2 silence, week 3 order. By week 13 he'd get to humility, and on week 14 he'd be back to temperance. And then again, by the time the year was done, he had gone through those all 4 times. Also want to encourage you to check out www.gaingradesnow.com. You can sign up for the Gain Grades newsletter and receive other useful tips for efficiency in college like this one. You're also going to hear about great offers on our study skills programs, which are guaranteed to reduce your study time and increase your grades. So again, this is Sam Kotera wishing you a great day. Thanks for watching.